Hi everybody, Tony Margatelli here, Chair ICPA. Welcome to my In Practice blog. Today we're going to be covering CIS. In December time I went along to the meeting. It was a very interesting meeting. I've been to an awful lot of meetings with HMRC and HM Treasury and all manner of people, but I've never actually been to a meeting where I think the agent attendees, we numbered about 9, and there were about 15 HMRC attendees, and there was another list of HMRC apologies for not attending of about 14. So it was really very interesting to see quite so many people from HMRC there. It was a very, very, very interesting meeting, and it actually was a privilege to sit there. It was a tour de force given on behalf of the agents by Howard Royce, who is, I believe, the ICAW representative on CIS matters. Howard is a definite expert on this whole issue, and he questioned and questioned and questioned HMRC on the whole situation, and it was incredibly interesting to watch and to sit and learn and listen. We all put in our tuppence worth, and I put in as much as I can, and certainly we got a lot of very, very interesting feedback from it. Some of the things that we were bringing up at the meeting, incredibly, was that since I believe 2007, no contractor has been fined or penalised for failing to issue a payment certificate, which is frankly astonishing, absolutely astonishing, because a report had come out prior to then to show that when they asked main contractors, 80% of them said yes, they had issued payment certificates. No, only 80%. But when they talked to subcontractors, the figure had dropped to sort of 60% who actually said they got them. And as we know, whenever there's a problem regarding your CIS claim, the first thing HMRC goes, give me the payment certificate, and there you go, you start there from problems. But it was a very, very interesting meeting, and a lot came out of it. Astonishingly, what came out of the meeting was that the year before, the CIS situation for refunds wasn't bad at all. This followed the previous year, which was, let's be honest, rubbish. Then the following year was a lot better, and HMRC and everyone at the meeting, etc., was saying that they expected that last year to be much better, and yet it wasn't. And why wasn't it? As I say, the result came out that the reason why it was worse was because HMRC spent more money, invested more money in CIS, and employed more staff. Now you're going to sit there and say, well, how on earth can that make the system worse? Well, I couldn't believe it myself at the time, but under investigation it transpired that by taking on more staff, the staff needed training. HMRC decided to train the staff using experienced existing staff, and of course by doing that, that meant each bit took more time. But incredulously, they scheduled all this apparent training to happen at the peak period for CIS. So the result was, lo and behold, everything took longer. Now, this is such an amazing reason. Frankly, it has to be true. You cannot envisage anything probably more laughable than that. But that is the answer that's been given. That is what they HMRC have admitted to. And as I say, incredulity all around the table from the agents, and a lot of HMRC people looking at their shoes, looking out the window, trying to avoid eye contact, because, well, you wouldn't really want to admit to having done it that way, would you? But that's the reason that they gave for why it was so bad. This is a dreadful situation for people to be in. I can actually stand counting. I was talking to one of my partners earlier this morning. We had a situation, we had a client submitted everything on time way back in April. 15th of January mark, we were notified that they would get their refund, and it had finally been agreed. 15th of January. But of course, they didn't actually get the money on the 15th of January because, of course, guess what? It's gone to security. It's gone to security. We still, here we are, February, and as far as we know, they still haven't got their money because it's still sitting in security. So we know there are a huge amount of people out there still suffering this problem. Frankly, the time is, we are now in February. Take your gloves off. Start fighting for your clients. Start being mean and moody, if you like, with HMRC. Talk to your MPs. Write formal letters of complaint. Things should have calmed down after the January hiatus. You should find you've got a little bit of spare time on your hands. This is the time to really ratchet up the pressure on HMRC to make these refunds payable. There is no slick answer. There is no simple answer. It literally is, you've got to keep fighting for your clients. I wish there was a simple answer to it. There frankly is not. This whole CIS system is frankly it's a Cinderella tax. I don't believe the revenue give it the kudos that it deserves, and I certainly don't think they pay enough attention to it. And I think, as Howard Royce says, that really there is now a case for getting rid of this thing. But if you're suffering at the moment, then start fighting back. Yes, you can get your agent account manager involved, but that'll take even more time. I would suggest, if you're in February and you've done everything you possibly can, you've got to start talking MPs, you've got to start talking formal letters of complaints, etc., and you've got to start bombarding them with correspondence. How are HMRC going to remedy it? They know what they need to do. They need to actually just do what they should do. And certainly they have to take the non-submission of a payment certificate seriously. It is no good them saying to us, we would like you to phone up CIS and report when you don't get a CIS payment certificate, because I did exactly that, phoned up to report I didn't get a CIS certificate, to be told by the lady on the other end of the phone, well, you should get one. To which I replied, I know, but I haven't. Well, tell them to give you one. I have done that, but they won't give me one. Well, they've got to give you one. I know they've got to give me one. They haven't given me one. Well, they should give you one, at which point I lost the will to live, and rather than be abusive to the lady on the phone, I just put the phone down. They have to understand, if they're going to police the system, they've got to police it properly, and they've got to police it fairly. And if they think they can't police it properly and fairly, then I suggest that it's time to look at the whole running of the CIS. They would do very well to read Howard Royce's article in one of the taxation magazines. They would do really well to read that and see that, frankly, is it not time to actually get rid of this thing? I still don't understand why builders are treated so much differently to any other society, business in society. Maybe it's time to get rid of CIS, but if they can't see themselves clear to getting rid of it, then deal with it fairly and properly.